Letters from the Battlefield, a historical American love story. The winter of 1778 was the coldest Sarah Wilton had ever known. Snow blanketed the farmlands of Pennsylvania, and the wind howled like a wounded animal outside their family home near Valley Forge, while the soldiers of the Continental Army starved and froze not far away. Sarah kept the fires burning in her house and in her heart. She was 19, the only daughter of a strict Loyalist family. Her father, a merchant, still loyal to the British crown. Her mother forever wary of rebellion. But Sarah's heart had chosen differently. It belonged to a rebel, a young Continental soldier named James Callahan. They had met the previous summer when Sarah was delivering food to the sick with her church group. James, injured from a skirmish, had been resting in a small barn converted into a medic post. He was pale, wounded, but defiant. His first words to her were, "Is it the fever? Or are you just that lovely?" She had rolled her eyes then, but 2 weeks later, she found herself returning with fresh bread and letters from other soldiers, and eventually, one for him, a letter she wrote herself. Over the next few months, their love bloomed quietly, hidden behind ink and paper. They met whenever they could, at dusk in the woods, in secret church pews, even once under the flicker of fireflies in the garden behind her house. He would call her my brave poet, and she would call him my foolish soldier. But in early 1779, tragedy struck. Her father discovered one of James's letters hidden in the folds of her hymn book. Enraged, he forbade her from ever leaving the house alone again. Worse, he alerted the local British authorities that a rebel was lurking nearby. Within days, the patrols increased. James vanished. Days turned into weeks, then months. Sarah wrote letters anyway, dozens. She left them hidden in the hollow of an old elm tree, the one they had carved their initials into, S+J. Spring passed, then fall. Her heart began to grow heavy. In the bitter winter of 1780, word came that a young rebel soldier matching James's description had been captured and sent to a prison ship off the coast of New York. No name, it's just a rumor. Her father refused to confirm or deny it. That night, Sarah took her mother's old cloak and rode toward New York on horseback, disguised as a nurse. It was dangerous, illegal, and foolish, but love had made her all three. She found the prison ship, HMS Jersey, moored in the icy Hudson, filled with the dying and the forgotten. She bribed a guard to let her near the lower deck. The stench of sickness was suffocating. She held the handkerchief to her face, trembling. And then, in the dim lantern light, she saw him, barely breathing, his face bruised, but unmistakably him. "James," she whispered, barely able to speak. His eyes opened, just a sliver. Then a faint smile. "Told you I'd come back. One day." 3 years later, minus 1,783, the war had ended. The Americans had won. In a small cottage near the banks of the Hudson River, Sarah poured tea into 2 mismatched cups. James, his hair longer now, sat by the window, writing letters for fellow veterans. Though he walked with a limp, the spark in his eyes had never faded. They were married quietly, with only the local minister and a few friends in attendance. No grand ceremony, no family blessings, only love. Sarah became a teacher. James, a writer of local stories. Together, they published a small book called Letters from the Battlefield, a collection of fictional and real wartime letters that captured the heartbreak and hope of those who loved in silence. Inside the front cover of every book, Sarah wrote the same line: "True liberty is the freedom to love whom your heart chooses."